In this video of Belize City, I will show you and describe a walking tour of Belize City. How safe is Belize City for tourists? Can you drink the water in Belize City? Where to stay in Belize City at half the cost of the big hotels? How to choose a water taxi to San Pedro or Caye Caulker? So please stay tuned to my video. Please remember to post a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you can always get my latest travel videos.
Hello and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to Belize.
You'll note the cruise ships tender just offshore. I'm right near the cruise port, about 200 feet away from the cruise port entrance, and this is the view you're going to get when you arrive here in Belize City.
Now, if you do come to Belize, you're likely going to be coming here on a cruise ship. And cruise ships cannot dock in Belize because there is a protected coral barrier reef just offshore, and it's the second largest barrier reef in the world, next to the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. It's the second largest one that's here. So the ships have to be tendered, and you take a tender boat from your cruise ship into Belize. Now today there are 3 cruise ships in port, 2 of them being from Princess.
So here's the names of the 3 ships that are tendered just offshore today. And this is the main entrance and exit to the Belize cruise port. So as you exit the Belize cruise port, this is what you're going to see. As you face this sign, you have 2 choices. One, you can go to the left, or you can go to the right.
I'm going to go to the right first, and then I'll show you what happens if you go to the left. So stay tuned.
I've just started walking to the right, and you'll see that it takes about 40 feet before you get to the exit of the cruise port area, and that's right here. When we get to this intersection, we're just going to turn to the left. The building to my right is a huge hotel, which I will show you later. But on the left-hand side, you'll find the car rentals. So if you want to, you can just get off the cruise ship and walk over to these car rental places and get yourself a car for the day. We're now approaching the end of Goldson Lane, and we're going to turn to the right onto Cork Street. And now you can see the front of that huge hotel. It's called the Fort George Hotel and Spa. Right next to the Fort George Hotel and Spa is the Great House Inn. It's an older, more classic looking hotel. As you keep walking past the Great House Inn, you'll see another building that says the Fort George Hotel and Spa. This was at one time called the Radisson Hotel. We'll just keep walking down this street, and you can see the Caribbean Sea just at the end of this street.
Now, if you've been to Belize several years ago, you remember the Radisson. Well, there is no Radisson here. It's now the Fort George Hotel and Spa, and that's what's taken over this building. And they are adding to it, and they've already added to it. But right at the end of this little street is still the Caribbean Sea, and at the on the left-hand side, it's still called the Radisson Pier.
So at the end of the street, there's the view of the Fort George Hotel and Spa, and over there is the Radisson Pier. Now this pier is important if you've booked any kind of a shore excursion. because a lot of them will leave from this pier, and this is the short walk you have to take from the cruise port to get here. I'm now going to turn to the right and loop back towards the cruise port down this Marine Parade Boulevard. Beautiful view of the Caribbean Sea from near the Radisson Pier. As I turn to the right and loop back towards the cruise port, the first thing you see is this lighthouse. Just past the lighthouse is the Belize sign which I showed you earlier. I'm just walking back towards the cruise port.
So my total walking time from the cruise port to this spot past the Belize sign is hardly 7 minutes. That's all it took me. And so it's very easy to walk around this area, and it's called the 4th Street area. Now on this trip to Belize, I did not arrive on a cruise ship like I did on my prior trips. I arrived on an airplane, and I'm staying at a hotel here. And I'll just show you the hotel where I'm staying. So right there is the cruise port entrance, and where I'm staying is this little hotel right here.
As soon as you enter the hotel complex, you're met with this beautiful little labyrinth and lots of natural space. My hotel has cottages as well as rooms, and I'm staying in a cottage on this stay. This is the area of my cottage. It's got a pool just in front of the cottage. The pool is only 4 to 5 feet deep, and that's my cottage, Toucan. This is the view from my cottage veranda. I'm now going to take a stroll through the complex towards the main pool area. This is the main pool area. The pool is slightly deeper, about 5.5 feet, and it's got loungers.
Now those of you who follow my channel know that none of my videos are promotional or are they sponsored. So in no way am I recommending this hotel. But why did I choose it? I chose it because it's extremely quiet. You're awakened by the birds in the morning. It's lovely. And I chose it because it's half the price of the hotels next door, including the Fort George Resort and Spa and the Great House Hotel, which are both right next door. And it's totally quiet and tranquil here. There is no nightclub here, and there is no restaurant here. There's a restaurant that's across the street, and I'll show it to you. So you just go out the exit of the hotel, and there you see the sign Harbor View. That is the restaurant for the hotel, and I'll show it to you now.
They've got a nice lounge or sitting area to enjoy a drink as you enter the restaurant. And this is their patio. And notice something. See that ship over there? That's a tender from a cruise ship. And they're offloading. So you could just get off the ship, off your ship, and just walk over here to enjoy a drink. Again, we're walking back through the lounge area of the restaurant. And they have this cute sign that the owner has put up. However, you can wear your shoes inside that restaurant. So look how close I am to the cruise port entrance exit. There it is, right in front of you.
So if you've been to Belize before, you know that the cruise ship area, which is just up ahead, the bars are pretty crowded. So this place is kind of a hidden gem, and it's not at all far from the cruise port.
So there's Martha's Cafe. You can see the sign right up ahead. And this is the cruise port entrance right there under that awning. That's how close you are. So now we're back at the cruise port entrance exit. And this time we're going to go to the left towards town.
Now a little traveler's tip for you. You'll see all these little tuk-tuk drivers and several people hassling you to take you on a city tour, and you don't really need to. You can just walk all around here. There's no reason. It's not dangerous at all. It's a little poor in some places, but not in this area that I showed you. But you're totally safe walking around here. By the way, one other thing about safety: you can drink the water here in Belize City. So you can drink the water right out of the tap of your hotel here in Belize City, and it's perfectly safe. I have. And considering where Belize is located, it's next to Mexico and sandwiched in between Mexico and Guatemala, where you can't drink the water. But here in Belize City, you can.
So I'm looking back at the cruise port entrance, and I'm going to continue along Fort Street, just up ahead.
Now, a traveler's tip for you: if you arrive here in Belize and you're here on a cruise, everybody's going to try to sell you something right here near the cruise port. But when the cruise ships aren't in town, like they weren't in town yesterday when I arrived here, and they weren't in town this morning when I was walking around, everybody's super helpful. They're very friendly. They'll give you directions for free, accurate directions. So the population is very helpful, and they all speak English. English is the official language here in Belize.
As you walk along North Front Street, if you look to your right, you'll see a sign that says museum. That museum is a tourist trap. Don't go there. I'll show you a much better museum a little later. You walk about 20 more feet and you'll see the sign BMT. That's the Belize Marine Terminal. And that's the first place you can take water taxis, express water taxis to other places like San Pedro and Caye Caulker. This is the entrance. This place is seldom used by cruise ship passengers because the water taxis run on their schedule, and if you're not back in time for your cruise ship, last tender, you're not going to make it back to the ship. So this is mostly for people who fly to Belize and want to take a water taxi to their final destination. And that would be to San Pedro or to Caye Caulker, and that's what you see lined up over here. And this is where you get your tickets, right in there. So now I've left the Belize Marine Terminal, the water taxi service, and I'm going to continue along North Front Street.
So as I mentioned before, walking around in Belize, here in Belize City, is perfectly safe. It looked a little rough about 10 years ago when I was here last time, but they've really improved the infrastructure here. So it's very easy to walk around and it's totally safe. It's not rough like it used to look before.
I'm now heading towards the second express water taxi service, which is called Caribbean Sprinter, and also the swing bridge, which is located right next door to the Caribbean Sprinter dock. As you can see, Caribbean Sprinter's terminal is far less crowded than the other water taxi service which I showed you before. Right beside the Caribbean Sprinter building is the swing bridge entrance. Crossing this swing bridge takes you into the downtown of Belize City. Below this bridge is the Belize River. I did take the Caribbean Sprinter Express water taxi to Caye Caulker, and I'll show you that in another video. You'll notice something about Belize. There are no fast food chains, no McDonald's, no KFC, no Burger King. There's absolutely no chains, only privately run restaurants.
Welcome to our neighborhood. Welcome.
So now I'm going to walk along Albert Street to the main square in downtown Belize City. So this is the main square in Belize City. You'll see that big yellow building to your right. That is Brody's. That's the major supermarket in this area. The statue is dedicated to the first Prime Minister of Belize, and a little bit of history is shown on a plaque right in front.
Now, the Brody supermarket directly behind me is the largest supermarket here in downtown Belize City, and it is the largest and best supermarket in Belize City that you'll find as a tourist. However, don't raise your expectations too high when you come into the supermarket. Just be warned. Now, a traveler's tip for you is on this side of the bridge. As soon as you cross that bridge that I just showed you, the prices here are all in Belizean dollars. On the other side of the bridge, which is the cruise port area, the prices are usually in US dollars. So a beer over there is $5 US. A beer over here is about $2 US. 2 Belize dollars equals 1 US dollar.
So now I'm walking back from the downtown towards the cruise port area.
So there are two popular water taxi companies. There's Caribbean Sprinter and the other one that I showed you, Belize Water Taxi. So what's the difference between the two of them? The Caribbean Sprinter is, as its name suggests, is a much faster water taxi, but the disadvantage is you can't carry any luggage on it. So if you're here on a cruise and you're going to want to just go over to, let's say, Caye Caulker or to San Pedro Island very quickly, and get back in time for your cruise, take the Caribbean Sprinter. It's actually farther from the cruise port, but it'll get you there that much faster and get you back in time for you to catch your ship. On the other hand, the advantage of the Belize Express water taxi, that's that you can carry your luggage. It's a little slower, but that's if you have flown into Belize and you are staying in Caye Caulker or in San Pedro Island. You could take the Belize Express water taxi. It'll get you there slower, but you could take all the luggage with you.
So what I'm showing you is a sign and a website for the Belize Express water taxi service. So now, once again, I'm right in front of the cruise port. So from the cruise port, I've already shown you what happens if you go to the right or you go to the left. This time I'm going to be going to the right and showing you a different area.
So now I've gone to the right, I've gone to the left towards the downtown, but I only showed you when I went to the right only as far as the Fort George, the 4th Street area with the hotels and the Belize sign. So what happens if you go past the Belize sign? And that's what I'm going to show you now. So there's the Belize sign, and now we're going to go that way towards that lighthouse and beyond. There in the foreground you can see the pelicans resting, and in the background you can see the 3 cruise ships. So keeping the lighthouse to our right side, we walk along this way, along the seafront. There's the Fort George Resort and Spa, and there is what they call the Radisson Pier.
This is the Radisson Pier. So right in front of the Radisson Pier, you see this trolley service that they have from the cruise port. That costs $60 per person. What I'm showing you is absolutely free, and I'm showing you the same places that trolley service takes you to. I'm just past the Radisson Pier, walking along this beautiful Marine Parade Boulevard. Walking along, you see this memorial plaque built to Lord Raburn, a famous calypso singer from Belize. And right beside it is this park. This is the Fort George Memorial Park, and this is a main area for staging live music events. Maybe if you're on a cruise here, you'll be lucky to see one. Right beside the Fort George Memorial Park is the embassy area, and here you find the Taiwan Embassy.
Now, just a fun fact, there is no embassy of Taiwan in the United States nor Canada, but there is one here. As you can see, if you go past the Belize sign, you've got this great walking promenade right along the seaside, and it's very quiet, quite tranquil, and you won't get the hustlers that you do near the cruise port, where they're going to try to sell you taxis and tuk-tuks and tours of Belize City. Actually, this walk I'm doing that I'm showing you, it's for free because you're watching it for free on YouTube. But this will give you everything you need to know about what it's like in this area, because all the tours of Belize City, the little tuk-tuk tours, they only take you to these areas.
We just walk another 10 minutes past the Memorial Park, and you find this beautiful building. It's a school. It's the St. Catherine Academy. It's a girls' high school, and it's where the locals go. This is a beautiful building, and there is another beautiful building right beside it, just up ahead, and it's only a 2-minute walk from the St. Catherine Academy. So you just keep walking along Marine Parade Boulevard, and you get to the next building, which is again just 2 minutes away. This building seems quite imposing. It has very high fences, and you can't actually walk through this parking lot. So you have to go around, but this is the Central Bank of Belize. And this place has a hidden gem, and I'll show that to you shortly. Again, you can't walk through that front gate. You got to walk around this side area right here. You just keep walking, and you see that first road going off to the left. You just take that road and go away from the Caribbean Sea. So as you walk along, you can say hi to those poor people who paid $60 per person to take that trolley ride, and you're walking to the same areas as where they're going. So you just make a left up here and just go around the Belize Central Bank, and this is called Gold Lane. And a huge classical building shows up to your left side. And that is the Belize National Museum. It's a beautiful building. As I said, this place is a hidden gem. You just turn to your left up this street and go around the block, and there's the building. And now you found it. There's the front entrance just up ahead. And once you get to the front entrance, you'll see the sign for the Belize National Museum and House of Culture. And there's the opening hours. And the admission is $7 per adult. And there's the entrance right there. It's a beautiful building, as I said, and it's quite spacious inside. And look at the exhibits they have here. You can really get a real flavor for Belize culture and history by going into this museum. And again, it's not a tourist trap like the other museum I showed you before. This museum is just a 15-minute walk from the cruise port, and it's hidden, so you have to find it. With my video today, I've shown you where it's hidden and where it is. They don't promote this museum anywhere in Belize, right near the cruise port, and it is a hidden gem. And right behind it is the Central Bank of Belize, which is a beautiful building.
So now we're back from the Museum of Belize, and we're back by the waterfront promenade. And there is an upscale restaurant, and right next to it is another upscale restaurant, the Celebrity Restaurant and Lounge. Walking along the seashore, just 5 more minutes, you get to the Golden Bay Shopping Center and the Golden Bay Belize Hotel.
You can buy authentic Belize-grown coffee right here.
So this bay right here is about a half-hour walk from the Belize sign, walking along the seashore. So I hope you enjoyed my video walking tour of Belize City today. Please stay tuned for more of my travel videos, and thank you for watching.
Please subscribe, post a like, and hit the notification bell for future videos.